Hey everybody, I want to create some videos that will help you to use free software, open source software, in order to form graphic design, page layout, digital painting, digital illustration, photo manipulation, file management, and related tasks. Today, I thought that I would start with Inkscape. Inkscape is one of my favorite tools. It happens to be free. It's open source software. It is available for any major platform, including Linux, and it's pretty great. So I want to show you how to get started with it. I want to show you how some of the basic tools work and allow you to understand how these kinds of tools are different than using, let's say, Word or PowerPoint in order to do graphic design or illustration. So with that, let's hop into Inkscape. So here we are in Inkscape, and we're looking at a slightly customized look and feel because I've made some changes to my page. But we won't worry about that right now. All I want you to know is that we are looking at a page inside of Inkscape, and we're going to put objects on top of that page in order to manipulate them. So let's start with a basic square. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use this rectangle tool right here. So when I roll my mouse over it, you can see that there is a tooltip that tells me that this tool creates rectangles and squares. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click into my interface, hold down my mouse, and I'm going to stretch while holding down, and I'm going to drop it. Okay, so I've created this square. It happens to be black because that's the color that I last chose. However, you will say, John, that's not a square. Anybody, even without a ruler, they can tell it's not a square. So, using the same tool, not choosing anything else, I'm going to create a square this time. And I'm going to use the grid in the background in order to confirm that it's a square. So when I go like this, if I click and drag with that tool, it begins to create the square. And I could drop this, and I'm pretty sure that would be close to square. But just to be absolutely sure, I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard as I drag, and you can see now it is constraining the lines to make them even, equal, square. So I'm going to drop that, still holding down Control. I'm going to let go of Control now. This is a square. How could I confirm that this is a square? You can see that I just clicked on this arrow here. This arrow is the pointer tool. The pointer tool in Inkscape is the way that you move, drag, rotate, manipulate objects in Inkscape. And so I clicked on the selector tool, and now these handles show up around my object. If I click on it again, you can see that the handles change. And what I want you to know about that is that if I click on a different object, those handles show up over there. If I click on my original object, they show up over here. So again, how can I know that this is square? Well, I have details about this object up above. Because I have the selector tool selected, because I've selected this object, this gives me some information about the selected object. It also allows me to do things like rotate the object, flip the object, move the selection up or down. But I just want you to know that in the selector tool, when you have something selected, you can manipulate that object using some of these quick shortcut tools. You can also, for example, rotate this object manually. Most importantly, I know that this is a square because this number and this number, which are width and height in pixels, are equal. So 194.335 pixels by 194.335 pixels. This is a square. If I wanted to, I could manipulate these numbers to make them even, because I like even numbers. But if I stop right here and I hit return, this is no longer square. You can see that the width and the height are no longer in sync. And so I can remedy that by highlighting the height, putting in 200, and hitting enter. And now this is a 200 pixel square object. This object is 505.419 pixels wide and 386.453 pixels high. And if I wanted to make that a square as well, I could go in here and hit 500, and I could go in here and hit 500, and now I have two squares, one that is 200 pixels square and one that is 500 pixels square. That's incredibly useful if you are doing graphic design, to be able to get to a precise pixel size or inch size or millimeter size. Whatever it is that you want to work in, you can do it here. Now, I've skipped around something that will make this task easier. If you want an object to be square, and I'm going to take this object and I'm going to take it out of square. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use this handle over here, drag it so that the height remained the same, but the width has changed to 749, which is different than 500. This is no longer square. So if I was to click on this lock here, what this means is that I have constrained proportions. As I resize or otherwise manipulate this object, it will keep the proportion of 500 to 749, etc. In fact, if I make this now 200 or 250, you can see that it is not 250 by 250, it's 250 by 374, but I didn't have to do the math in order to change that. So that's what constraint is for. Now, if I click on that lock again to unlock it, I can now change this to 250. And this is 250, of course, so this is square again. If I click on the lock, it means that this object can be resized and it will keep the same ratio between the height and the width because that's locked. So you can see I started off with a 250 square pixel object, and now I have a 456 pixel square object. And all I did was click on the handle and move it in the corner. Okay? So this is a brief introduction to Inkscape, but I wanted to start here. If you can create a rectangle and you can use the selection tool, you're well on your way to being able to understand the rest of the tools and how they work. I'm going to continue to create videos like this, and I hope that you watch them. I hope that there are things that you can learn about free and open source tools that allow you to get real, powerful work done. I hope you are having a great day. It's been a real pleasure to talk with you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.